It's always there. Exactly. And I love the way you described that, because it is always there. And it's like having a cup of tea, right? If I fill this up to the top with liquid, there's no more room for more liquid. So if I fill my cup up to the top with liquid saying, I can't, I won't, like, I'm stuck, I have writer's block. And so now I've filled my cup with all those thoughts. There's no room for the drops of Jupiter to come in there, because I just filled that whole cup up with my own sayings, my own quotes, if you will, right? My own quotes about.
There are drops of Jupiter, but they're not coming from Jupiter. They're coming from someplace else.
Like, I'm filling the cup with my own nonsensical, yeah. And meditation does really help with that. It really does help clear some of that out. And and that's why it's a practice. That's why we do it on a regular basis. I wanted to say something about, and I love that you're recording this. I hope you'll post the recording in the garden, because I view these chats that we have, Nancy, because we have these chats. We've had these chats so frequently in the past year, and I really appreciate them. And I appreciate you for, being there to do them with me. They're like fireside chats, aren't they? They're like cozy little ahas in our day.
That's what I wanted to say. There are those moments of these light bulbs going off, and it's I take all my notes, because that's our journaling. And when I'm able to go back through them, it's like, oh my God, there it is again. There it is again. Put it into something that I can now explain to somebody else, using it in my writing or in my speaking or whatever I'm doing. So yeah, this has been a great year.
Yeah, it has been a great year. So I wanted to say something, because I thought this might be helpful too, about rain in the garden. So Catalina's got there's a really good acronym. RAIN stands for something in the field of meditation. I'll just read that to you, and then I'll tell you what the metaphor for rain I have. So journals, right? So Catalina bought me this beautiful journal, and it's my haiku journal. I use it for poetry, and I use it for my haiku series. But when she gave it to me, she wrote on the first page, RAIN. It's an acronym for recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. Then she wrote a personal note, which is beautiful. May there always be an opportunity to play freely and sense life fully happening around and within us. And I love that. But so rain has a significance in the meditation world. But also, just from a visual metaphorical standpoint, think about when and you can use this in regards to how we're talking about with sharing and planting seeds. And so sometimes, very often, people feel like it's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to do the sharing. And it's important to understand that the sharing it's not about us. It's about taking our perspective and putting it into the world for the benefit of someone else to expand their view of the world. And so from that regard, if that's my purpose, that makes it a little less painful for me to share my story. And the very first few times that you share your vulnerable story, that can be very challenging, because it's so close to us, and we feel, like that's our little seed of whatever. Whether it be a seed of secret, a seed of shame, a seed of something inside of us that sparks fear, or sparks something that makes us feel deeply in our body uncomfortable. But just in the process of releasing it, whether it's into a journal or then eventually out loud, that allows us to release that feeling from the body and put it somewhere else, put it on a page, or share it with someone in a way that they may get some benefit from it. But it's important for us to be centered in ourselves before we do the verbal sharing, and to feel like in a safe space. And this is what the garden's about. But think about it in terms of, if I get to that headspace where I say, I get it. I get that I'm sharing this for the benefit of others, not just for cathartic purposes for myself. If I'm planting a seed, like when I start my gardens, and I start indoors in the spring, because it's very cold outside and it's too cold for the little seeds, so they need a lot of extra nurturing. So I plant all my vegetable garden seeds indoors in little special cups with fortified soil, organic soil, and I water them daily. I make conditions right for them to grow. And if I just put those seeds outside and planted them and left them at the mercy of Mother Nature doesn't necessarily care about my garden vegetable seeds. Mother Nature cares about what Mother Nature cares about. It just does what it does. She does what she does. So she's looking for, the strongest seeds to survive. This is at a very fundamental level how the planet works, the survival of the fittest, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It rains when it rains. The strongest seeds that can survive from one rainfall to another will survive, and the ones that don't survive, don't survive. And we don't weep about the little seeds that don't survive. They're just little seeds, right? That's the way, really. Now, I'm not going to stop planting seeds, but think about it in terms of rain, and think of our story that we share as rain, right? I'm raining little nuggets of Jupiter. I'm raining little bits of sharing, wisdom, knowledge, whatever it is that I'm raining out. If I plant a seed, if I plant a whole lot of seeds in a garden outside, and then a gentle rain comes, the seeds love that and they start to grow. But if a giant thunderstorm of rain comes and the sky opens up and there's buckets of rain that fall down on those little seedlings, if they don't have strong roots yet, they're gonna jump up out of the ground, they're gonna move, they're not gonna be in their straight rows that I put them in, because the rain has this power of moving the soil, moving the earth, moving the seeds literally out of their comfortable little rows. And then if they're not well rooted, the next day comes, the bright sun comes out and starts shining on those seeds. And what happens? The ones that had little roots, but they got flipped upside down and the roots are exposed, the sun can shrivel up that root, and now that seed is toast. That seed is done. That seed's gone. So from the standpoint of how we share story with people, we often get very excited about, I've got this new aha moment. I've got this new wisdom. I've got this newfound, I want to share that with everybody. I want everybody to have that moment of epiphany and the wisdom and the knowledge that I got, and they should have it, and they should have it today. Literally, when we do that, it's like opening up a thunderstorm on them. And so we get these, we get glimpses of that. Like if you get somebody who's like an evangelistic something, like they're a brand new reformed alcoholic, or they're a brand new born again Christian, or they're a brand new something, and they've had this epiphany in their life that changed their life, literally changed their life for the better. And now they want everybody to join them, and they want to share that with everybody. We have to be careful that we don't thundercloud them. right? Because you know what that feels like to be thunder clouded. The sky opens up, somebody has that new found whatever, and I think that it was in my fear of telling my cancer story. I was, very fearful of thunder clouding people. And so, I just wanted to drop gentle raindrops on people with the ideas that came out of my story. But I didn't really know back in those days, that was 20 years ago. I really didn't yet know how to craft the story in a way that I could plant the seed, gently water it, and walk away without, bringing out the thunder and lightning.
God, that is